In this video, we're going to be going over how to figure out what exactly to delegate. Now, delegation is something that's on the rise in 2023 and 2024 for different business owners and busy executives. But the thing is, most general lists of what tasks you should delegate are okay, but they're not actually going to give you something that is impactful to your business, that's specific to you. You shouldn't figure out what to delegate from a general list that you find on Facebook or LinkedIn. What you really should do is do a customized time audit and figure out what makes sense for you to delegate in your specific situation or business. That's what we're going to go over today. For business owners, delegation is freedom. If you imagine that your work is basically just keeping a little bit of a fire going, delegation is like pouring gasoline onto the actual fire. It makes it very large. It makes it so you can actually move the needle forward and grow a large business. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So eventually you're going to have to turn over different tasks for other people to do. Sometimes people are very scared to actually delegate. We actually have a completely separate video on this whole thing. It's a little bit of a mindset shift that you have to go through in order to successfully set yourself up to delegate. So if you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch that. It'll be linked here in the description. The first step in figuring out what should you delegate is doing a time audit. Now, a time audit is basically what it sounds like. Over 2 to 3 days, you're going to be auditing your time, tracking your time, and then we're going to figure out what makes sense to eliminate, delegate, and then keep for you to focus on. This is something that takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it in the end. You don't want to just delegate whatever you saw your friend delegate or different people online, what they're delegating. You want to delegate something that's actually impactful to your business. There's multiple different ways to begin a time audit and multiple different ways to actually do it. I like to use Clockify. It's a free Chrome extension. We're not affiliated with them, but it's something that I've just been using the last several years to be able to do time audits and time tracking. It's extremely simple to use, and I'll show you how we utilize it on a daily basis. Once you have it installed, basically what you do is you just click on it here, and it will ask you what task you're currently doing. Over a span of 2 to 3 days, you can do longer if needed. And it's actually recommended that you do longer, but it can be very, very tedious. If you're in a rush to hire, I would say do 2 to 3 days. But over a period of 2 to 3 days, what you need to do is every time that you are working, you're tracking your time. You're tracking what activity you're currently doing. Again, this is super tedious. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it in the end. Once we've done the time tracking, we're going to move into the auditing phase. Inside of Clockify, we're going to go to the report section and we're going to go to summary. It will load a page like this. I chose the date range that I want to utilize, so October 22nd to 29th of 2023. And now I can see the hours worked. So we have 50 hours and 51 minutes. And we can analyze some of the tasks that we've been doing. So I can click into here, then I can look through this list of tasks. Now, the first section we're looking for is the elimination section. So things we do not want to keep doing, things that are probably a waste of our time. Typically, my time tracking is pretty dialed in. There's not a lot of fluff. There's not a lot of stuff to eliminate. There's a lot of stuff to continually delegate and get quicker at, but to eliminate, not as much, just because I've been doing this for a long time. But there's still things that fall through the crack. One of those could be Twitter, right? I was time tracking. I was just wasting some time on Twitter. I do use it for business every once in a while, but that typically takes a very, very short amount of time. And that would be through a different program called Tweet Hunter, where I schedule tweets. And that's actually like business activity. When I'm just using Twitter here, that's something that I need to eliminate. That was not worth my time, right? So Twitter, I just don't even need to actually do. Here we have AI bot. I wanted to learn about building AI bots. And then it really wasn't the best use of my time. This is probably something that could be eliminated. This would be a one-time thing anyway, so I really don't need to worry about this popping up in the future. But let's say there was a consistent thing where I was just taking extra long breaks or scrolling social media, like the Twitter example. That's where I would need to eliminate some of those tasks. After we move on from the elimination side, we need to go into delegate. What are things that someone else could actually do? For example, invoices, right? I don't need to be the one who's sending out invoices. I could have my administration assistant do that for me. Prospecting. Let's say I wanted to hire a sales rep. Prospecting would be something that I could hire that sales rep to do, right? Here we have PandaDoc. This is basically a contract software, basically like a DocuSign where you can send and electronically sign documents. I spent 2 hours and 18 minutes utilizing that during that week. That could probably have been done by my administrative assistant, but unfortunately I used about 2.5 hours of my time doing that. Here we have follow-up. Follow-up would be something that could be delegated to a sales rep. Here I have job description. This could be delegated to that administrative assistant. Competitor research, some of that could be done by that administrative assistant. Email accounts, so this was troubleshooting some email accounts, again, could be delegated. Payroll should be delegated. Small website edit should be delegated. Testimonials, it was testimonial collection, so that could be delegated. I could have my administrative assistant reach out to those clients and ask them for testimonials. That doesn't necessarily need to come from me. We see LinkedIn work here. This is actually something that should be eliminated, but if there's anything that's business focused, it could be done through my administrative assistant. Here we have a lead list. So this was building a lead list in Apollo.io. Basically, it's like a Zoom info. This is something that could be done by that administrative assistant or some sort of sales rep or lead generation person. So at this point, we have several things that we can actually delegate. We have invoices, prospecting, follow-up, job description, competitor research, testimonials, email accounts, and lead lists. Now we need to group these tasks. It's very clear after grouping these tasks what type of person I may need to hire or what type of tasks I need to delegate to a person who could already be inside of my team. On the sales side of things, we only had prospecting, lead list building, and follow-up. It's just not enough time to justify a part-time hire. On the administrative assistant side, the kind of general tasks, we had a lot of different tasks that actually would justify a part-time hire. Now, I already have someone like that on my team, so it just means that I need to do a better job of delegation to them. Those tasks included invoicing, job descriptions, competitor research, testimonials, email accounts. Overall, that was about 4 to 5 hours extra per week. Again, I already have this type of person on my role, so imagine if I didn't, I would have many more hours to delegate to them because this time audit would look a little bit different. Knowing what I know now, if I was to revisit this time audit in October, I probably would have shifted some things around. I did a lot of work in the recruiting side of things, a lot of looking for candidates, a lot of time in the applicant tracking system, a lot of time on LinkedIn. Some of this stuff could just be better delegated to a recruiter. That's actually what ended up happening, is us bringing on a recruiter to manage that side of things, thus cutting my work in half, allowing me just to focus on the things that are the most high leverage. Some of the things on this list, like client onboarding, I want to keep under my control in the beginning just to make sure that client experience is the best that it can be. Building a culture guide, I want to be the one that's creating that. And so that's why I spent 4 hours on it in this week and I didn't delegate it. Coming up with a company brain that basically maps out every single step of my process. Me being the founder, I'm the only one who has that kind of bird's eye view. And so that's a task that I had to champion myself. At different stages of your business, the task list is going to be a little bit different. The things that you need to delegate, the things that you need to keep under your control, it's going to look different. For me, I wanted to keep the client calls, the sales calls, onboarding calls, all under my control to make sure that we really had that process ironed out. Maybe for you, you can just start delegating your sales calls. Maybe you need to make a sales hire. You see a lot of your time is just sales focused, and so you see 10, 15 hours a week. You should probably hire a part-time sales rep for that. Maybe for the more beginners, or if you're a busy executive watching this, an administrative assistant to help with the invoicing, the follow-up, just those small little things, the scheduling, that would be a worthwhile hire. It's also important to keep in mind the complexity of the task, but then also the access level or security level of the task. What I mean by that is you don't want to just delegate the most secure part of your business day one. You want to slowly ramp up into that. So let's collect some lower level tasks, some beginner tasks that you feel comfortable with delegating, and then work our way into more complex hires and more complex tasks. Hopefully this video helped on figuring out exactly what to delegate inside of your growing business or as a busy executive. Now, if you want a team with a proven track record to do the whole process of finding, vetting, interviewing remote talent for your business, click the link below in the description and book a call. We'd be happy to chat. Thanks.